This is my camera. Let me know when you're ready.
This is mine.
Call me.
Good evening. I'm Dr. Wilton Triggs, and welcome to Triggs Table Talks. And today I have the illustrious, the phenomenal, the boss of all bosses, Kenasha Paul, the founder and CEO of Black Professionals Network, with me today. Welcome, Kenasha.
Hey, Triggs.
We just had a whole flip out off camera. Well, it's on camera, but it's not going to be aired about me tearing her name up, even though I've known her for 2-3 years now.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's cool. She's trying to fight back. She wants to swing on me, but it's okay. It's okay. We have this great episode. But Kenasha, I'm just going to dive right into it. Y'all have the summit coming up.
Yeah.
The big shebang for BPN. Was it like villains and heroes, heroes and villains?
So this year our focus is about helping professionals identify what are some of the villains that we face. I think for us, we kind of structure it from a beyond just kind of like a comics or like typical style. It's more about like, hey, in our professional journey, we're always experiencing like real life villains that we want to kind of visualize and then help our professionals create strategies. And we're looking at the summit as almost like a hero's training camp so that you can empower yourself, so that you can fight back on villains like burnout, isolation, and fear.
Oh, I love that. I love that. So what inspired you in the beginning to create BPN?
So for me, I think my origin story for BPN started, I want to say probably me in college, just from the work that I used to do with our at FIU with our Black Student Union.
Okay.
But when I was in law school, I think it really hit for me when I saw that my peers that didn't look like me, they could make a phone call and call like their father or call a judge or call anyone to kind of like get opportunities. And I noticed that my friends who were in other graduate programs, whether it's higher education, whether it was in med, they almost had a kind of like that same journey of like everything felt like they were the first in their pathway. And people who didn't look like us, their pathways was a little bit easier because they could lean on connections and opportunities.
Right.
And so for me, I just wanted to kind of like recreate that. Like, okay, how do we create a network where we could truly be one introduction away from opportunity?
Understood. So over the years, the summit has become more than a conference. It seems like it's becoming more of a movement. So that's super dope. Congratulations to you and your team. How would you describe what happens in that space and why it matters?
I feel like what happens in that space is that people feel really inspired by seeing people that look like them, who have, trailblazed maybe a couple steps ahead of them, coming back and being able to share their wisdom. And I think it just inspires them to let them know that it is possible. Right. And so that's why we've always pushed to make sure that we have like amazing speakers or headliners that can really inspire them and motivate them. Like, hey, like the world isn't designed for us. Like the systems and structures aren't really have us in mind, but that doesn't mean that we have to lose out on hope. That doesn't mean that we have to feel defeated, that we can, be recharged amongst each other. I'm big on our tagline that together each achieves more, which is like if people pick up, it's team, and so it's just like really believe in like the power of teamwork.
I love that. So I remember my first time going, and I definitely was inspired. I was like, "Yo, this is so dope!" And I wish I could have like stayed for the whole entire conference, but I stayed for like the next 3-4 hours or whatever, seeing the speakers. And I'm trying to think, who was the speaker that was headlining that year?
I think for you, your year was Pinky Cole.
That's right. It was so dope, like hearing her story. And now I've seen her at a few conferences now, but no, I loved it. I was like, man, I didn't even know this was going on, and I'm so glad I went. So, and I'm a big advocate. The only thing is my personal schedule colliding with BPN schedule has always been off, but sometimes we get it figured out.
I know you missed the year when we had Stephen A. Smith. I
know, and I'm a big Stephen A. Smith fan too. I would have loved it. That was the year before, right?
The year after, right after we had Pinky Cole, we had Stephen A.
Yeah, that sucks. I always thought it was the year before. That's why I really never felt too bad about it. But now that's
now I'm
but I love Fawn Weaver though.
Yeah, Fawn Weaver was great. Yeah. She had a really great story, and I think really people enjoyed. So we can't wait for people to hear who's our keynote for this year.
Yeah, I was about to say, has it been dropped yet?
No, it hasn't dropped. So, and you're not going to get an exclusive, unfortunately.
Well, This interview's over. What?
Let's cut that part out.
Like, no, we're gonna keep that in there.
No.
We're gonna see how you treat me. We're gonna air it. We're gonna
No,
air
we're not,
all
because Triggs does not want to open this can of worms.
At what point did you realize the goal wasn't just to climb the ladder, but to build the structure itself? So you didn't want to eat at the table. You was like, I'll just build my own table.
Well, I think for me, I always come from I came from a family that, like, I didn't realize, like, we're always, like, from a service. So a lot of people don't know that my dad is a pastor, and that he's built his church.
You're a PK?
I am. Don't start. That's why I don't tell people, because then people create these little narratives, and they'll be like, and I'm like, you thought I was a saint before you heard this.
So
it doesn't explain nothing. But my dad built his church from scratch, and so for me, seeing kind of like the passion that he had to service his community, and bring something to the region that around faith, I think that was really like something that I've always noticed. My mom, she runs a food distribution service as well. So and before that, she used to be a chef, and she also was like a in-home nurse. So I've always seen my family just always be part of in service. And I think for me, when I was going through my journey and figuring out, like, in all the roles that I took, I realized, like, structure, like understanding how to provide value, understanding the existing system, and then figuring out how to be of service, that honestly allows you to kind of reap so many opportunities. And so for me, I just realized, like, as our community, we were waiting a lot for people to come in and save us. Like, we were waiting for other people to do, like, to care about our needs, to care about our pain, to care about our struggle. And I was like, we're the heroes that we're waiting for. You know, we could do this. Like, we should have faith in our own abilities. Because it's like, if I could see people who did not speak the language and be able to build something from scratch, if I'm able to see people who didn't have an education build something from scratch, I'm like, okay, we can do this. It's just we have to have a lot of faith, and we have to have belief in ourselves. So that's something that kind of made me realize, like, yeah, let's build it. And you know the saying, if you build it, they will come.
That's right. That's right. So as Black professionals, we carry a lot, so much right now: pressure, representation, expectations. What do you think is our biggest villain? I know individual-wise it's different, but as you know, as a
community,
yeah.
I would say our biggest villain is fear. I feel like too often when you think about all the ways that people hold back, whether it's professionally, whether it's personally, it's fear. They want to, and it's odd because fear is always going to be part of the equation. Fear is like, if you are a spiritual person, you know that the lack of fear is not promised. It's just the ability to have inner strength and have faith that you can overcome it. And I think oftentimes we actually, succumb to the fear. We decide that, hey, I'm too scared to do this. I'm too scared to make this risk. And they think about all the ways that it can't work or all the ways that it would fail. And for me, I'm just like, I guess by having like that inner risk taker in me, I'm just like, it's like, and it's so funny, my friends think that I'm not fear, like I don't have a lot of fear, but I'm like, no, I have a lot of fear. I just decided to do it anyways. Because I have faith in like in the God that I serve, and I have faith and inner trust in myself that even if I fall, I can bounce back.
With all the burnout and isolation, misinformation and fear, and these are all real, like we just talked about. Which of these do you see the most in some of your like inner circle? Not necessarily the community, but the people that you work with, like hand in hand.
I think right now what's happening is a lot of burnout. I feel like everyone is kind of checked out in some degree. It's just, especially this year, there's just been so much noise when it comes to our community, from DEI to people losing contracts to people, budgets getting slashed, hiring freezes. and it's hurting us economically.
Right.
And a lot of the work that BPN is focused on is economic advancement. It's making sure we create pathways so that majority of our professionals become accredited investors. And the way that I have analyzed pathways to that requires that we do get access to high paying roles, that we do get like the government contracts that allow you to have scalable businesses, that you are able to get supplier diversity bids from private companies. Like all of these are pathways to kind of at least get us to a baseline to becoming a credit investor, from, the careers that you can pursue, the business opportunities. So when you're seeing that it's being attacked left and right, I honestly, that's why the conference theme was so important to us, because it's like, I'm understanding why people are burnt out. Shoot, I went through a season of a big burnt out. Like I even in trying to like get like this year planning, like even though I was trying to be very hopeful and like have my same like, can do spirit, it was a struggle just recognizing that no, this year is tough. And I think one of the things that I'm reminding my community is that yes, it's tough. Take your time, don't beat yourself too much. Like allow yourself to sit in that season of like, yeah, it is a tough time, but sit also with the idea of like, you have to bounce back and you have to decide to make better choices.
Yeah, that was my next question. So how do you fight back against it? You diving right into it. Yeah.
It's make better choices. It's like, it's so easy to kind of like succumb to like, I would say like our anti-hero side of us, right? To take it the easy way out, to decide to do things that are safe, to completely check out. Like you're feeling bombarded by things that are on the news and decide that, you know what, it's not my battle, it's not my fight. But as a community, we have always been the souls of this country. We have always been the heartbeat that tells people like, hey, like that moral compass that we have to do better. And I just think that, yes, a lot of what's fighting back is, taking rest when you need to take rest so that you can fight to live another day. And then for those who might still have some fight in them, be strategic about how you're going to fight. And then also making sure that you design a support network. Like, again, really big on teams. Like, I feel like people just undervalue like how important it is to have a good sidekick or a good Justice League or Avengers.
I know it. I know
like your A team. And I think just that's a lot of the strategic ways that we can do this better.
That's perfect. That's perfect. And then we've talked about this as we've talked about the summit. There's this thing of like image anxiety. How do you see self-image and appearance affecting confidence and opportunity in professional and leadership spaces?
Honestly, it's always, I feel like it's always been at the crux, because it's like, I feel like a lot of our professionals, they know, like there's a silent knowing that the looks matter, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
There is a silent knowing, like no matter what people are trying to like, oh no, it's your
push
hard
the boundaries
work.
and all that. Yeah.
It's like, or at the end of the day, we know that it matters. And I think for a lot of us, we understand that there's a way to integrate it. Like you know what I would say is like, we call our community legacy builders. And for me, a legacy builder understands like how to be like a holistic person.
Right.
And understanding that, yeah, you look good, you feel good, you do good, right? But for me, the people that I value the most are the people who, yes, they look good, but they also like do good. Like I just love like a very like integrated person who knows how to be fly, but also brilliant. And so for me, like that is something that even in my own personal journey, I have been like making sure that I hold up to that message as well. And so, yeah, when people see us like, okay, like I'm gonna be cute.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be cute. I'm gonna be brilliant.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. All right, this year's theme, Rise and Resist, feels powerful and personal. What does that message mean to you as an individual outside of BPN and CEO and founder, Kenasha, the person, personally?
Ooh, so for me, Rise and Resist, for me personally, this year I feel like the theme would have meant rising and resisting against self-sabotage. So making sure that.
Oh, I like that. I need to think on that one.
Yeah, because I think so often, especially when you are a leader, there is a level of extra healing and knowledge that you are supposed to do that is almost a little ahead of your community so that you can lead properly. And so I know for me that I had put a lot of energy in the past couple years and making sure, like, going to therapy, getting back into the gym, making sure that I get deeper in my faith, making sure I just do the work so that I can be like as a holistic person.
Right.
But that doesn't mean when life trials come about that and you get triggered, or when you sit there and like situations come about, that your baseline doesn't make you decide to do like the opposite, right?
Mm-hmm.
That you
Mm-hmm.
start sabotaging your journey, and like you're making all this progress, and then you start making choices that are not reflective of the growth that you're trying to make.
Right. 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 How can physical and mental health become a part of that resistance?
I think it's off a corner, but you know what? I saw, even though I know we have that question, one of the things that I have been stressing the most lately is how important it is for our professionals to adopt emotional intelligence. I think emotional intelligence is at the root of all of it.
Mm-hmm.
When you actually, and not, because I feel like a lot of people know emotional intelligence from a working knowledge, but to apply it, right? So understanding how to have really good self-awareness, how to have good people awareness, how to understand like your patterns and your triggers, and also knowing how to be vulnerable and knowing how to just have really good emotional regulation. I find that a lot of professionals, they practice more emotional suppression than emotional regulation. And because of that, I feel like it trickles down to other areas, from how they eat, from when you think about like the health wise, because if you are stressed and you have not practiced how to figure out like how to truly emotionally regulate, you're going to overeat.
Yeah.
You're going to pick the things that you're not supposed to be eating because you're stressed, and then it's like the stress hungers. Because I'm a stress eater. So for me, I was like, oh no, I got to get better about practicing those cues. Like when I'm stressed, what are other positive things that I can do to make sure that I'm like going down the right pathway? And even when it comes to personal, like making sure that when certain situations happen, that I'm reminding myself, like, hey, like, remember, you're trying to be an emotionally intelligent person.
Right.
So it's like, and what does that look like? And
check yourself before you wreck yourself.
What? Because it's very, very easy to happen. And you don't want to bring other people along that ride when you haven't done that work.
Right. So how do we normalize conversations around therapy, rest, self-care as essential to professional success and not in opposition to it? Because I'll be honest, I remember sitting on this black male doctor panel. It was for, was it NMA? NMA. And I remember one of the question, I don't remember the exact question, but it was like, when you have a break, what are you doing during your break or when you're resting? And I was like, man, honestly, I still feel anxious because I feel like I'm supposed to be doing something.
Yeah, and that's a very big thing that I've noticed happens. Like, it's for me, I one thing that I can know for a fact that I have mastered is that rest is busy time to me. So when someone hits me up, and if I'm just laying out home and someone's like, "Oh, are you busy?" I'll be like, "Yeah, I am," because me resting is me being busy. It's an active care that I need in order to be a high functioning person.
Right.
And so it's like, now if I know that I didn't do everything that I was supposed to and I like decided to check out, that's different.
Right, exactly.
But when I know that I'm being intentional of like, no, like I'll feel in my body, I'm just like, hey, you need to rest. Like, and that's part of why I was saying like EQ, like learning this, like feelings in your body, knowing, picking up on the signals of like, you need to rest before you burn out, before you like crumble. Like you do not want to get to that place. And so I make sure that it's active. And I think another thing that professionals can do to help make it normalized, part of our messaging, we need to start showing that on my social media. Like people see that I'm at the massage therapist. Like people see like every month they be like, oh, Kenasha is like, yes, I'm getting my massage therapy. I'm at the beach or I'm hanging out with my friends.
Right.
Like I never want them to think that the work is bigger than me.
Right. No, I like that. The work is bigger than me. I like that. I think for me, I've only done that like a few times where I post like something where it's like me on chill time. And most of the time, like, it's been like Legos and watching TV. Those are
Wow,
my
so
things.
fascinating.
I mean, it
Let me
keeps
not
me
let me not get on
calm. It keeps me calm, I guess.
you.
Uh,
It's okay. I feel like you're still in your villain era.
I
So
am. I'm very much am.
in your
I very am. I'm not gonna deny it either. So when I come to the summit, like just know that
no. By
I'm the
summit,
villain.
you need to be at least closer to anti-hero. Like you can't be fully on villain. It's like a journey. It's like villain to anti-hero to hero.
I'm gonna be a villain.
Oh, okay.
Just in defiance. Just in defiance.
Because you're in your villain era. And
Exactly.
okay.
Because I'm a menace.
No. I'm the menace.
Oh, here, we got it on camera. Oh, I got it. I got it. I knew it. I've been waiting all day. So you've built spaces for others to rise. What does legacy look like for you now? Because I
Ooh.
know you've checked some boxes in these few short years that you've done BPN and the summit and stuff like that. So how has that changed your goals of legacy?
Ooh. So right now I feel like, and I don't know if I would say that is legacy. Because for me, I think anytime that you decide to commit to being of service or of value, you are actively creating a path like trails of legacy, right? Because legacy is what you leave behind, is what you leave in people, it's the transformations that you make. So I would honestly think that maybe for me, it's more of just like expansion. So for us, our right now we're in other markets. So we're in Miami, Chicago, and LA.
Right.
So I would love for us to see I would love for the work around like increasing the number of Black accredited investors to be expanded in other markets, and for our programming and like just kind of like the mindset of what it means to be a legacy builder for that to spread far and wide. I still think that we still have a growing population that are still strictly only on the wealth building side of a journey. So they only are thinking about like how much money they can make, how much they can consume, how much they can flex. And I always say like, that's great, but let's now graduate to being a legacy builder mindset where you now figure out how to make your wealth become impactful, how to make it purposeful.
Right. For those listening, especially young professionals feeling stuck or overwhelmed, what's one of the things you want them to remember about building legacy in real time?
I think it's just being true to yourself. I feel like honestly, authenticity is like at the root of everything. If you're just true to yourself and you are making sure that you have also like a heart of service, I just feel like that's at the root of everything. So sometimes for me, I can say it over and over, like be of value, be of service. Honestly, everything comes back to you when you start moving like that.
Right. No, I like that, like being authentic. And I think, I mean, I don't think about it until it's like one of those times like you get asked a question like, what is your legacy? What do you want your legacy to be? And how are you actively going about it? It's like, when you're building it in real time, it's a lot of times you're not even focused on it. At least I'm not thinking about it. I'm just thinking about like hitting these boxes because I know what these boxes are going to do later down the road. And I think sometimes like if you align your goals, and your things to do list to your goals to what you want to get done, your principles or all that's aligned, that it automatically feeds into building your legacy in real time. So I guess that's why I don't think about it as much, because I already know like where I'm trying to go and I've already like established those goals. So to me it's just like, all right, I'm just checking off my to-do list because I know this is going to get me to this and this is going to get me to that. So
no, and that is definitely a core, I feel like, characteristic when I define somebody who has a legacy builder mindset. I also just would add that people probably also have to take time to identify what their core values are.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times that would help you truly understand like what your legacy building journey, like the quiz, we created a quiz that we're going to have to re-release, but for our legacy house quiz that kind of goes to what people's core values are. So if you're a guardian, usually your core values is around community or family. If you're a tycoon, your core values are usually around innovation and creating opportunities. If you're a luminary, your core values tend to be around the influence that you want to leave behind, the inspiration that you want to create. And if you are a diplomat, usually your core values are around people and creating connection and creating, making sure that people feel heard and making sure that policies reflect that.
Right.
So I find that when people kind of just know what their core values are and take time, because I know it sounds like a big broad word,
Mm-hmm.
like core values,
Right.
but when you really think about it, it's like Adam Grant does this thing when people ask them like, okay, what is your core value? So if I ask you like, what do you think is your core value?
I would say family.
All right, so then he would be like, why?
Because I love my family, and I felt like that a big reason I am the man I am today is because of them.
Okay, then he would say why.
Why do I feel like they're a big reason?
and he would keep going why and why and why. And the reason I felt like it was powerful because no matter what you do, he says that oftentimes we have a terminal value and a core value. So we'll say buzzwords like maybe like, so at the time he was doing it with Dr. Brene Brown. Mm-hmm. So she said that her initial core value was courage. Mm-hmm. And so they kept answering, and it came out that really what her core value, or maybe it was vulnerability, as she said. Mm-hmm. And then I think her real true core value, once he kind of kept digging, was that it was courage, and that she finds that being able to live a courageous life allows her to have opportunities, allows her to create a life that feels meaningful to her. Mm-hmm. And that is at the root of what she wants. So if I would have say I was like, okay, family, then I would be like, dig deep. And I was like, love is probably what your true core value is. Mm-hmm. And being able to, and that he probably would have been like, yeah, because the love of family, the support of family, that would be what your baseline core value is.
That's so cool. So cool. They say every movement begins with a call. So with BPN, what is the call and who do you hope hears this call?
Every movement begins with a call. Ooh, okay. So I would say our call of action is to step into your power.
Okay.
I think the people who would need to hear that is our people who desire like desire wanting to be part of something bigger than themselves. Like they do want to be professionally successful. They want to have a great business, but they know that that's just hitting a milestone, right? Mm-hmm. They want to be able to figure out how they can actually see those things not as part of their identity, but as tools to create systematic and generational impact.
Okay. And if you had one goal that you could check off for this year's summit that you could walk out and be like, it was all worth it, what would that be? All the stress, all the headache, just of this year's summit.
Oh my gosh, that would be tough. I'm not gonna lie. You know what? I'm hoping this is gonna be not. Normally, I tie the conference to others, but I feel like for this year, I feel like the stress is gonna be worth it if, for once, like I actually absorb the summit. Okay. Because I find that I get on so go mode, and that's why I spend.
You don't get to like take it all in.
Yeah, and I
can see that.
Yeah, and I feel like that's why last year pushed me to like when we hit our year 10, I was like, oh, I'm never living life like this ever again. Mm-hmm. I was just like, everybody was like, oh my God, it was so great, and I could not conceptualize any of that. Like I didn't have any feeling in my body about it. I didn't have any mind. It's just I was like, oh, okay, I'm not moving truly in alignment of like something, I'm missing the mark. The work is still need to be done, but something about how I'm going about the work professionally and personally needs to be like readjusted. Mm-hmm. And so for me, I feel like I'll know that I have actually like really made some progress and growth towards that, but I can be like, oh yeah, girl, you did
that. Yeah. So looking back, like when you first like started dreaming of BPN and putting pen to pad and writing out goals and like how you wanted to do this, what do you think, what would the younger you say to you right now, and what would the you right now say to the younger you? I'm sure she would be in awe. She'd be like, oh man.
You know, I don't know.
Oh yeah, you're a hard person to please. I forgot.
Don't start with me.
Yes.
I was like, we we were doing so good.
We were
Okay,
on a good run.
you
We were
gotta
on a good run.
check your villain. Okay, not with me. Okay, calm down.
Okay.
Thank you. I would say no. I feel like my youngest self. Oh, she would be so proud of how much growth she's had as far as because I started as a villain. So,
So be more of that whole like mental, like intangible part.
she'd
Yeah.
probably be like, "Oh my gosh, look at
You came a
you!
long way.
You're like so sweet." Because like anyone who has known me from a young age, they're always in awe. Just I it's like it's a story I don't tell often, but I had a teacher tell me I lack tact.
Mm. Well, that's it's
So
not surprising. But okay.
okay, stop it.
Okay.
You see, you can't even help it. You see, because at the core, it's still there, and she's there for a reason. She's honestly gonna be so happy that I kept her along, because I am a person who kept my inner child with me throughout the whole journey. That's
That's
what keeps
good
me.
though.
Yeah, I feel like I have a really great integration of like I feel like you should have an inner child spirit, but adult discernment.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like for me, I think she'd just be like, you know what? Thanks for still keeping me on the journey. Because she does come out not always on the best behavior, but usually when she comes out and in moments that I feel like inspire my creativity, inspires my passion, and I feel like the person I am now would tell her that um it does end up working out.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think younger me probably felt so frustrated about being a little different and sometimes feeling like I saw things always 5 steps ahead and would get so frustrated that I'm like, am I the only one who sees this? And I feel like letting her know like, no, other people will see the vision, other people will be able to like get what you're doing and get who you are, and it works out.
The one you've had to overcome.
So my personal villain is Dr. Wilton Triggs, and we are still in the process of overcoming that. Okay, so is
Arch
that on camera?
nemesis, arch enemy. I'm Batman. Well, I'm the Joker. You're Batman.
Are you trying to say you're Batman and I'm Robin? No, that wouldn't be the case.
No, I said I was the Joker, and then you're
No,
Batman.
but I'm talking about in a world where you're actually a hero. Who would you be?
I've never thought about it from like, I mean, I just know who I like personally, but I never thought about it based off like my own attributes though.
So would you create your own superhero?
I wouldn't say that. I think I would just have to think about like why do I like the superheroes I like and which one I feel like is more applicable to me.
Oh, I already know why you like the ones you like.
Probably Iron Man, Tony Stark.
No, I already know. That's what I said. I already know why you like the ones you like.
Yeah.
And poor everybody who knows Iron Man. So it's okay, but Iron Man had a really great journey because technically he had a little anti-hero-ness to him.
Mm-hmm.
And, eventually through like growth and healing, he finally, became the person that he needed to be.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of people don't think about that when they watch the Marvel movies, like his growth.
Yes, his growth. So you're probably on Iron Man 2. You're on the Iron Man 2 version. We can only hope you get to
Endgame.
I don't even know. One can only hope. So back to the question. Okay, so I think what I said earlier, I feel like my own inner villain, like sabotage. So I feel like for me, that would be one of the villains I feel like I had to overcome. I definitely had a journey where I did not feel, because I feel like I got the calling to do this work at a very young age. And so for me, I was not, I wasn't, like, you know how some people be like, oh, I always knew I was going to do this. I always knew, like, I'm very a spiritual person, so I feel like, God speaks to me and he says, like, hey, you're supposed to sit there, move a certain way, or you're supposed to make a certain adjustments. And I talked back. I was just like, no, please, pick somebody else. I was just like, please. I don't want to do this.
Right.
Like, I just was
The
calculating.
calling, right.
Yeah, I was just like calculating all the things that I probably wasn't going to experience. And I just had a very negative perspective about how it was going to impact my life and the choices that I was going to have. And so I just was not as receptive. So I felt like in a lot of ways I was being dragged into the work. And there were moments because I was very resistant that I felt like I put myself in situations, or I held back. And I feel like when I think about my journey with VPN, there are definitely moments I feel like we could have been probably more aggressive about certain things, and I just was not at the place for me to really accept that. And I feel like up until a couple years when I realized, like, I really just had to, like, hey, no, at the end of the day, I do love this work. Like, when I see the people coming to me and they tell me, like, they met their husband at BPN, or now we got BPN babies.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's crazy.
Yeah.
What, like conceived at the conference?
Stop it.
No, I'm just
For the
messing.
network.
Okay.
We do more than just a conference.
I know.
But yes, they met at networking mixers, or they met at the conference. And for people to say like they had got a job opportunity, or they business scaled, or like, oh, Kenasha, like, I met my business partner, and we're connecting this, or I met this person and we're now doing deals, or so it's just like seeing the fruits of the labor, like being able to know that it wasn't all in vain. So sometimes when I feel like I'm going through personal sacrifices, seeing the fruits of the labor kind of like reminds me, like, it's not all in vain.
I love that. I love that. And that kind of goes into my next question. How do you define success now compared to when you started?
Ooh, I think when I first started, success to me was about, I think success for me was just making sure that whatever we set out to do, we accomplished. So it was like, I was very much like an outcome-oriented person. So it was like, if we said we're going to have a mixer, then that mixer was going to have a full room. It was going to make sure everybody was going to feel the vibe, the energy. People were going to walk away with connections. I was always kind of intentional about, like, when we design like our project scopes around anything that we do, that it made sure it hit certain like metrics for me to find success. And so I think old success for me was very logic, KPI based,
Right,
or like way. And I think for me, I define success on my ability to do this work without it encumbering like my personal walk.
Okay.
So for me, I feel like for me, I'm really big about saying, like, I don't want to be a martyr to the cause. Like, I'm going to make sure that I'm going to be good too. So I feel like for me, it's just success now looks like being able to do good and also making sure that I'm taken care of well too.
I love that. I love that. What's one daily habit that keeps you grounded when everything else feels so heavy?
So I would say it's actually maybe not one. It probably is a combo. And I feel like it's, of course, like for me, it's either now it's been like prayer, and gym time. So I feel like those two things has really been helpful in just making sure that I'm centered. And yeah, I feel like those kind of like help in my holistic journey.
Yeah, same here. Now, it's hurting me right now because I can't go to the gym today, and I feel weird because my whole day is thrown off. But I'll be back hopefully in a couple of days, let this heal up a little bit. But
poor baby, poor Hufflepuff.
I'm doing too much. Well, Kenasha, thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. So tell everybody like how they can get in touch, whether it's BPN or just learning more about you, so we can drop it below.
They can learn more about me at Kenasha. That's the beauty of having a unique name. It's just my first name on most social media platforms. Or BPN, they can find us at Black Professionals Network on Instagram.
Okay, perfect. And so when is the summit?
The summit is November 14th.
It's going down. What's the theme again?
Rise and resist.
We're going. Well, guys, thank you for tuning in. If you know anyone that this can inspire or wants to learn more about Black Professional Network, share this video, click like, subscribe. Also, I am a plastic surgeon, so, remember your consultation is completely free. We have to pay some bills. And, we can try to give you that dream body that you've been looking for. And thank you for tuning in. Remember, click like, subscribe, and Till next time, I'm Dr. Wilton Triggs, and thank you for tuning in to Triggs Table Talks.